Hi, I'm Jessica Lahr, and welcome to another edition of FLX Weekly here at FingerLakes1.com on January 9th, 2019. We're live inside the FingerLakes1.com studio where I'm joined by Josh Durso and Jim Sinacropi. We are one beauty short today.
And I regained my number 2 spot in the intro. That's what's important.
Yes, you did. We're short Sydney.
That's all right, though.
Send well wishes to her pup.
Her dog is not feeling well.
That's sad.
It happens. I wouldn't feel well either if I knew what was coming over the next 24 hours and into the weekend with some really not so fall-like weather like what we've been getting.
It is January.
Yeah, it is. I know.
I haven't paid attention per usual. I just don't pay attention to the weather until I come here. That's why I come here every Wednesday.
That's it.
So you guys
find out how to dress this weekend.
Yeah,
that's right.
So you know what's coming in the weather.
You want me to talk about the weather right off the bat? I can give you the weather right
let's
off
do
the
it.
bat if you
All
want.
right,
Let's do it.
Why not?
Friday. Well, first of all, tonight. This is we do the show on Wednesday. Tonight, overnight, expecting some snow, more to the east and southeast than central and western Finger Lakes, but a lot of lake effects, so the total snow amounts will vary based on where you are. But then looking ahead to the weekend, boy, it's going to be our first real stretch of real wintry, cold, frigid Arctic weather. So Friday night, there's a 40% chance of some snow in the air. Other than that, mostly cloudy with a high near 19 on Friday, and it's going to be windy too. So you can imagine the wind chills will be in the single digits.
Oh boy.
Friday night, going to get down to about 12 degrees.
Oh my goodness.
Fantastic.
Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 22. Not a bad day, but very cold. Saturday night, 30% chance of snow showers, low of around 15. And then Sunday, partly sunny, high near 24, 30% chance of snow. 14 degrees overnight Sunday into Monday. And then Monday, mostly sunny, high near 30. So it does warm up a little bit, but yeah, those are like
up to 30.
numbers that we really haven't had consistently. I think didn't in November it get down into the teens like for one day, maybe two?
Thanksgiving. Because
Yeah.
Thanksgiving Day, the day after Thanksgiving, were both really cold. But I don't think we've had anything more than like maybe 2 days, 2 days-ish.
Right.
Nothing like this is going to be a 4 or 5 day stretch essentially. So
Yeah.
I mean,
of cold weather.
Like I said, it is January.
I know.
but the upside is, I mean, it's like January. So after this weekend, we'll be at like the middle of January. Realistically, you're looking at like a month and a half of hard winter left.
Yeah, but we
It
say that,
starts
but then
to-
we always get a storm in March.
Yeah, but
Always.
a storm in March is not like the grips of winter.
You're right.
Hopefully not, but we are just about as close to April 1st as we were from Halloween at this point.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, see, that to me that doesn't sound
You
good
don't
at all.
like it?
Why, Halloween
That
seems
sounds
like a long
terrible.
time ago.
Seems like a long time ago, and it makes me feel like we still have a long
2.5
ways to
months. 2.5 months.
go. Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad. It's been so windy, though. I'm so afraid my roof is going to just fly off.
Go away.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I have some things in my yard that
Put the
Don't
Christmas
belong there.
put the
Rolling
Christmas
around.
things away. For anybody who's still, I'm still seeing like wreaths and stuff out, and I'm
Listen.
thinking to myself, who is doing this? Who is
it's bad
leaving
luck.
their Christmas stuff
Not
out
bad
this
luck.
long?
So my Christmas stuff is still out, but
Stop
to
it.
be fair, my brother and his new fiance, congratulations.
I saw that on the social medias.
Yes, they just got engaged this past weekend at Bellhurst. But they live in Nashville, and they were up visiting, so we did our Christmas.
Oh yeah.
So that's how I'm justifying the fact that my
So you
Christmas
had to
decorations are
make
still
Christmas
up.
stick around.
Yeah.
It never ends.
Hey.
I'm just going to stick hearts on the tree. And
Oh,
then...
you're going to
Valentine's
transition it
tree.
right into a Valentine tree?
No. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it is time. And it's depressing to take it down, honestly, because everything's so pretty and sparkly, but it's got to go. It's time. Anyway.
I like Christmas lights in the summer. If they're not Christmas lights, they're just outside lights in the summer, like maybe
Right.
around a pool area or on a back
Yes.
porch or something. You can
Yeah.
do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Yeah. I
Do they
agree.
attract bugs that time of year, like mosquitoes and stuff, or do they stay away
I
from
don't know
that?
if they're bright enough to. I assume they would. Why not? They're
Yeah.
attracted to most lights, but
Nobody likes mosquitoes.
you don't see
Nobody
any more of
likes
those bug zappers. Everybody used to have them.
Yes.
I don't see them around much anymore.
I feel like people consider them like inhumane.
Really?
I think so. I know we're talking about the feelings of bugs.
Insects. Well, that's a quick death.
Well, yeah.
If you swat them or electrocute them, what's the difference? Sometimes we can spray mass chemicals for genocide. We create a genocide of the insects.
Yeah.
I don't know. True. I struggle with that too because I'm a guy that feels like all life is precious, but I don't feel like a mosquito's life is precious the same way I do as a
daddy long leg,
a deer, or or even spiders. I had a friend once who really liked spiders. Like he would let the spider crawl up on him and he'd talk to him like, "Here you go, little buddy. I'll put you over here."
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, a lot of people will remove them and put them outside.
Roaches, gnats.
Yeah, roaches.
They're alive.
Yeah, they are.
But alive. I don't value their lives the same way I do mammals.
No, I completely agree. You have to have a spine. I think that's really what it comes down to in my
you have to have a spine.
You have to have a spine. If you as a living organism do not have a spine,
you don't care.
If you have an exoskeleton, then your life's not worth
you're
saving.
You're just not quite the same.
Now, what about fish?
Fish.
I'm sad when fish are floating on the top of the water.
My thing with sea creatures,
but I don't like fish,
is that I value their life, but I don't quite understand them because they're living in a space that's completely foreign to me. So it's like,
but it's just as much a part of the earth as our outside in the air.
Agree completely, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm much more apt to just live and let them live, rather than actually sort of take a stand on whether their life is important to me.
Well, sometimes I feel bad for when you see the pictures on Facebook of somebody that kills a deer and they're holding him up. You know,
right.
Look at this deer that I shot with my gun. He had no defense. Like, you know, it wasn't a fair fight. But I see fishermen holding the fish, and that doesn't evoke the same sort of a compassion for the catch. For the animal.
Interesting.
See, I even feel like when it comes,
I eat all meat too, so
we're coming out of hunting season. That's actually pretty timely because the DEC said this year in New York State that more deer were killed in this past deer season than ever before.
Interesting.
But you know, a lot of recreational hunters actually use the meat that they obtain through hunting, whereas like the trophy hunters that are going over to Africa to kill Simba, they're just a bunch of pricks. Like, you know, I hate to be that blunt, but right?
Yeah, I mean, you use the meat. They don't need the meat to survive, though. But no, I don't. If you want, hunting is not for me. It never was. But if you like to hunt, that's fine too. Yeah. But I don't know that we need to control the deer population. I don't know if they're doing a service by controlling the deer population.
No, that's a good question. I did notice that. Have you seen many deer on the roads this past fall or winter?
No, I guess
I haven't seen as many.
No.
This year it seemed like there were noticeably less, so maybe there is something good going on in that way. I
did total my first car because a deer ran into the side of it.
This season?
No, my first car that I bought for $300 when I was like 17.
I took one of my friends from college who was from Boston. He was from like the city of Boston, a suburb or something, but it was pretty urban area around Boston. We went to Seneca Falls, and then from there we were driving down to North Carolina, and we were leaving at like 10 or 11 at night. And so we left, and we're driving down Route 89, and we're driving. All of a sudden, a deer jumped out in front of us, and I saw it, and I kind of slowed down and swerved, and he lost his mind. He couldn't believe what just happened.
Really?
He was like shaking and was like, What's going on? What's going on? Like, it's a deer.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, but he doesn't see that. And then another friend from Boston as well, different person, but same city, that I went to school with, I brought him home, and when he saw like the cows, he started laughing. So I pulled right up along the fence for the cows, and the cow was coming right up, and he just was crying, laughing. He was half scared and half thought it was hilarious. And then I had another friend from North Carolina who was up, and he saw the cows, and I won't say the word he used, but he basically said they were puny cows. Like, he laughed and thought they were ridiculous puny cows because they were milk cows and not, not big bulls.
Wow.
So perceptions vary from different parts of the country, I guess.
So.
But anyways, that has nothing to do with anything. So. What are we going to even talk about today besides...
That was a nice story. Well, Woodstock is coming to Watkins Glen.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
August 16th, 17th, and 18th. It's the 50th anniversary of Woodstock, so it's coming back.
Awesome.
One of the original organizers is actually organizing this event.
That's
not a lot
cool.
of detail. I haven't seen the organizers haven't put out an actual press release yet to highlight what the specifics are, what bands are going to be there, how it's going to be. It's 3 days, so it's still. I mean, think about this: a 3-day festival, another 3-day festival coming to the Finger Lakes.
That's so cool.
Well, there's huge economic boon, but Watkins Glen is not the ideal place to accept that type of traffic.
Well, but they do.
They've done it
I was
before,
gonna say that.
although last year they had to cancel the Fish concert
Fest, yeah.
Which was
because of the water issues. But
yeah. I think that scenario was a bit of an outlier. You know what? I do think that they were more prepared down there than some other places in the Finger Lakes to handle that sort of event. And you know what? It's another. It draws away from sort of the Geneva, Victor, Auburn, northern Seneca County corridor of the Finger Lakes. Gets people off the throughway, gets them south, moving through Seneca, through Ontario, into Schuyler and Yates in that direction. I think that's really important on the economic development side.
Any information on the lineup of bands that'll be there?
I know.
No, and that's what I've been really curious to see.
Yeah.
Is what that lineup actually looks like. Think about that. 3 days.
It's a lot.
I don't know if they're going to do like a multi-stage kind of thing, like some of the bigger festivals do.
I bet they will. Like a main stage and then...
So here's the question then, because whenever something like this comes up, I always think to myself, would you seriously consider going?
I would, but I mean, I'm probably busy.
Because to me, I look at this is like another
if it's a weekend
kind of state fair thing. Yeah. Where like I'm always, when something like this is announced, I always think to myself, wow, that sounds really cool. That would probably be like a cool thing to go to. I've been saying I'm going to go to the state fair for the last 5 years. I still haven't been.
Gone?
Well, I mean, depending on the bands playing, I would like to go. I'd like to set up I don't like to camp.
Not
so
a
I don't know.
I'd go camp.
It might not be worth the trouble to deal with the crowds and everything, but there's going to be some obviously major national or international musical acts in Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
So it'd
be huge. I mean, there is no doubt that this will be probably the biggest event of the entire calendar year in the Finger Lakes.
And this is their 50th?
This is their 50th, yeah.
Attendance.
As far as attendance, actual bodies in Watkins Glen.
Yeah,
I can't see anything topping this, especially since it is the 50th.
Right.
This isn't just some
come out
reinvention of the event. This is the 50th.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's not the only topic that we have to talk about today.
Oh.
We've got to talk about this little bit of controversy that's been stirring. So, WHEC TV chief meteorologist, former chief meteorologist, Jeremy Capel was fired on Monday after what he called an unfortunate flub in his language. We're not going to use that language here, but links in the description of the YouTube video if you're watching us on YouTube. The story is on fingerlakes1.com. A lot of controversy around it, mainly I think because the station reacted so quickly to what was not quite a completely clear black and white incident of either a racial slur or an unfortunate mispronunciation of something. And it really just it sort of chimed in on all of the divide and controversy that we've seen happen individually over the last 5 years in politics, and it takes all of them and it just mushes them all together. So, and we were talking about this earlier in the newsroom. It's like you've got the racial aspect of it, you've got the economic aspect of it, you've got the have and have not aspect of it. There are so many different components to this, and then of course the controversy itself, I think, is mostly married to the fact that the Rochester mayor, Lovely Warren, was the one who initially called for him to be fired. And the station, the station says that they had already made their mind up before the mayor made her statement. But if you go back through and you actually follow sort of the paper trail that exists because of how much reporting has actually happened on this, it doesn't appear like any decision was made by the station until Monday morning, which was a full 12 or so hours after the mayor made her statement.
First of all, lovely Warren, mayor of Rochester, just mind your own business. I don't think that that's something you need to insert yourself into. Number two, I think that here you got a guy who worked his whole career, went to school, raising his family in Rochester, professional. You're a chief meteorologist at a television station. You've pretty much ascended to a pretty high spot in your field, and by all accounts has done everything that you would want someone to do as a meteorologist, and then there's no doubt that he didn't plan that. He didn't say, you know what I'm going to do today to really get the to raise the ire of the Black America or the Black community in Rochester is I'm going to say this word during my webcast, and I'm just going to slip it in, and then we'll see what happens. No way he did that. So the other thing is he garbled his words. He just misspoke, and so that Mike Greenberg of Mike and Mike in the Morning and ESPN did this several years ago. The exact same words where he inserted the exact same slur into the exact same word in the name of Martin Luther King Jr. And he apologized, and everybody agrees, oh, yeah, he just screwed it up. He's obviously not racist. But for some reason, this guy's getting tagged as a racist. And it's amazing that your entire career can be destroyed because of you misspoke. And it makes me nervous about talking about it right now.
Right.
So that's the other aspect of this story is we've already seen, and this is probably the first of what will end up being several, Ontario Honda withdrew all
yeah, wow, great. You guys really made a strong statement there, Ontario Honda. That, to me, that's is a publicity grab because we're talking about Ontario Honda right now, where all the advertising they were doing on WHEC, we never brought them up on this show. But.
Well, so there you go. So there's two ways to look at this. Did they withdraw their ads from WHEC because of what happened when he said what he said, or did they do it because of the way WHEC TV handled the situation and firing him? That seems
that's
the latter.
True too, right.
The latter appears to be what most people think is happening and how that came about. But they haven't said one way or another. It's just one of the many ways that this situation has sort of like bubbled and impacted something else that it isn't directly connected to.
But keep in mind that by Ontario Honda doing that, they've newsjacked this situation to their benefit. So now their brand is out there and being talked about.
If you go to that, if that post on Facebook has a ridiculous amount of comments and a ton of people literally saying, I am in the market I'm shopping for a car, and now you just vaulted to the top of my list. So that is that is a definite that's a thing, I think. And
but like I said, you don't know why. Did they do it because they disagree or agree with WHEC?
Yeah.
So that's even kind of ridiculous there. So the other option, and what most people are saying, is that obviously he flubbed his words. But then there's a contingent that said, well, he's a racist, and he uses that word all the time, and so he couldn't help himself. It just naturally came out. And I think that's kind of ridiculous, too, because I use a lot of profanity in my day-to-day life. But you've never heard me swear. Josh did earlier, though, today on the show. Use some mild vulgarity. But I don't swear on this show.
Yeah.
But I swear all the time. Like, as soon as the camera goes off, I'm like, F this, F that.
It's just... So here's where I want to leave this. We're working, and we're going to talk about this more on the Debrief podcast this week or next week, one of the two.
I'm interested to see that. With Jackie, is Jackie going to be the guest for that one?
Yeah, she will.
Obviously, good.
I think that we're working ourselves into a situation where there was a lot of talk initially, especially from the mayor, about cultural competency and a lot of learning and educating and all of those really good things that are necessary if we're actually going to fix this problem for real and not just hang people out to dry. And that isn't going to happen if this is the tone and tenor we're going to take with these situations over and over and over again. This is just the latest example.
But I'll say this: there's no problem here. He just misspoke, and it wasn't. And the fact that it happened before with that same phrase with other people like Mike Greenberg shows that it's just the way the English language works. It's not that he has premeditated racism in his brain that just spurted itself out. So. Is there a problem with racist meteorologists in Rochester? Is that the problem we need to have cultural workshops to overcome? It's just misguided it's misguided attention. It's not part of any real problem. I think the whole thing's ridiculous. I feel really bad for the guy who it's costing him not only his job but potentially his career, because it's going to be hard for another market to hire this guy with all this information out there about him. Because so anyways, I just feel bad for him. In situations like this, are all too commonplace where it's not a big deal and it gets made into a huge deal. And, maybe by me taking this stance that's a huge deal too. Maybe I'm insensitive.
Maybe you are. But in other news.
But did I mention that, I don't like seeing mammals get shot and killed?
Yeah.
Like insects are fine?
What an interesting
show. So you're see, he's sensitive, but he's not sensitive.
Right.
He's both. We've got some photos this week. We don't have a ton, but we do have some photos this week. What's the photo spread look like?
Okay, well, not as many as we did last week, but that's okay. Still beautiful photos, I'm sure. The first one up is a view from way up high along Lake Ontario in Sodus, and this photo by Chris Trine.
How green that area inside that
I know.
horse fence is.
What are they doing in there?
Is that a horse fence? It looks like a horse farm, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, that or indoor soccer field.
Yeah.
It's very green, though.
Yeah, the rest of everything is muddy.
Yes. Is that the lake, though? Yeah, that's the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a kicker.
Beautiful. Awesome. A nighttime view of the Geneva lakefront by Rachel Burkholder.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. Is that from the pier? Did she take that from the pier, or is it further out?
I think it's from the pier, because I don't think she took a boat out there this week.
I haven't seen many photos of the Ramada since it's had its new facelift, so that looks really pretty. A lot of people don't like it. I love it. I think it's
not a huge
modern
fan of
and
the colors,
different.
but it's fine.
Yeah, it's different.
It's nautical.
It's what?
It's nautical.
It's nautical.
That's the whole that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yellow,
like
blue,
right.
nautical things.
Yellow, blue nautical things. All right. There were a bunch of gorgeous sunrises this week in the Finger Lakes, and this one was captured in downtown Auburn by Barry Brown. Oh, my.
Well, downtown Auburn sunrise, that's something different. Mm-hmm. From a rooftop, it looks like.
Yeah.
Did you ever do the rooftop dining at the Osteria de Salina?
I have not, but I've wanted to.
I have several times.
There.
I love it.
Really?
Oh, I love that restaurant. And in the summer, I don't want to go out there if it's humid, but on a nice 70-something degree non-humid day or evening to eat up there, it's fantastic.
Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful from there. It was a nice warm day at Emerson Park, and this shot by Kathy McLaughlin.
Oh, the old outlet.
That is a beautiful shot. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Lake Ontario was rough this day, but that didn't mean everyone was avoiding it. This photo was captured by Ray Grilla. Oh, I love
windsurfers. We used to have a windsurfing. We used to have a Finger Lakes Board Sports podcast. Remember that show?
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and those guys used to. That might be them.
Maybe it is. That's pretty cool. Cold, but though very.
I was going to say I could see doing that in the summer, but
I know.
They're all windsuited up.
I know, but does it really keep it that warm? I
think that they're okay.
I guess they have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Burr. However, in this shot, that the lake looked much different. This one was captured by Peter O'Connor.
I would not be out on that lake.
Like
Doesn't that just look so much?
Looks
so much.
You got a dog with him there?
I think so.
Yeah.
So much meaner.
It
just
does.
looks like
it looks
mean.
sad.
Sad.
The other one
Looks
looks fun.
sad.
This one looks sad. But a great shot nonetheless. All right. It might look like a science project, but it's actually a series of ice bubbles, which we're seeing near Sodus Bay. This photo by Chris Trine. Oh, my goodness.
Bubbles captured underneath the ice? Air
Apparently.
Pockets?
Yeah.
That is really something unique there.
Yeah, it is.
Somebody showed you that and you didn't know what it was. You would think that was perhaps a painting or some sort of like rounded shale rocks.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Just looks like abstract art to me.
Yeah.
It does.
That's
a cool
really
shot.
good. That's
really different. Mm-hmm.
Photo of the week, maybe.
I guess we'll see.
I like it.
A big red hot sky on Monday in this shot by Courtney Linhand. Ooh, it looks like cotton candy. I'm a sucker for a cotton candy sky. What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Where's that one taken?
Canandaigua.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say it's not on my notes.
Huh.
Beautiful. Perhaps the most dramatic of morning skies was this one captured by Nancy Jacobs in South Bristol. This is our last one. Oh, man.
Red sky at night, sailor's delight. But this was the morning. Sailor take warning.
Yeah, you're not celebrating this sky if you were seeing it.
Oh, it's so gorgeous. What day was this?
I think it was Monday.
Okay, I saw the same sky Monday.
Yeah.
At 7:30. It was so beautiful. I took a Snapchat, and then it, I literally was sitting there a couple minutes, and I look up, and it was completely gone. Yeah. But it was so beautiful Monday morning.
Who's got the top photo this week?
That's my pick. It was between that one and the other one.
The last one with the fiery sky?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pick the ice bubbles.
Oh, I'm glad you did because that's what I wanted as well. Sorry, Jessica. That's something.
That's okay.
It's completely different and is.
Chris Trine. Well done.
Yeah, that's Chris Trine. It's a very interesting picture. Not something we've ever had.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before.
No. So can't go wrong. You can never go wrong with any of them. They're just beautiful.
Good job, Chris Trine, with that photo or photo of the week.
Yes, congratulations. Great photos. Everyone, thank you so much for sending them in. If you'd like to share your local photos from across the region, click the link in the Submit Content section at the bottom right of our homepage here at fingerlakes1.com. All right, so we did weather. Do we have events? We don't have events.
No, nobody wants to do anything in January.
Just stay in and
stay
Christmas
stay warm.
Down if you haven't yet.
Yeah, seriously, take your Christmas.
I gotta hurry
out.
though.
Okay, let's jump into sports.
Syracuse hosts Clemson tonight at 8 p.m. I'll be there, even though it's supposed to be snowing, lake effect snow out in Syracuse. I'm going to that game. 8 p.m. tip. Then Syracuse has Georgia Tech in the Dome, 6 p.m. Saturday, and then Monday they're at Duke down in Cameron at 7 p.m. So that's a tough one to play Saturday and then have to go down to Duke, but it's the way the ACC schedules it, so they never seem to be too kind to Syracuse for those big games. Cornell basketball is at Towson tonight at 7 p.m., and then they're off all the way till Saturday, January 19th. NFL playoff divisional round this weekend, Saturday at 4:35, Colts at Chiefs. 8:15, Cowboys at Rams. Sunday at 1:05, Chargers at Patriots. And then 4:40 p.m. on Sunday, Eagles at Saints. And here's my tip. Take the underdogs. Take all the dogs. If you're betting or for entertainment purposes only. The PGA Tour is at the Sony Open in Hawaii all weekend long. That's primetime golf. They're in Hawaii, so when they're playing, you're sitting at home at 9, 10 o'clock in the comfort of your own home when it's 12 degrees outside watching live golf. So if that's your thing, then this is a great weekend. That's my thing. I like to do that. That is my thing. Prime time golf. Finger Lakes One Sports is going to be in Romulus on Thursday night. South Seneca at Romulus. Big south end of the county rivalry game. Dave Barnick and Mike Alessio on the call there. Last night we were all the way up in Ontario for Newark at Wayne, and that was a great game. You can watch that in the webcast replay of that on Finger Lakes One. And that's all I got for sports.
Okay. All right. Are we done?
That's that.
And we got about 30 seconds. What's going on this weekend?
Makeup and makeup photo shoots.
Nothing.
Good.
I have very little this weekend. I really don't have many plans at all.
See?
Good.
Yeah, I'm probably it'd be a nice cold weekend to make a nice big pot of sauce.
Ooh,
there
that sounds so good.
I was gonna say chili. Maybe I'm gonna attack chili this weekend. Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Too.
Nope, I've had this camera on me for too long. Hi, everybody. Take us out.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoy this show, click like, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back next week. Until then, have a great weekend here in the Finger Lakes. Bye-bye.